Thing I've been thinking about is the future of religion and whether the future of religion will have the Sunday service model that we're so used to. We go to church on Sunday, Saturday, Friday, whatever. We listen to some kind of sermon. We're sitting in the pews, and maybe we have some kind of meal before or after, but that's pretty much the experience. Very much one of receiving. I guess some Abrahamic faiths spice it up a bit. They'll involve speaking in tongues or ecstatic things or whatever, but there's still a pretty consistent model. And something I'm wondering is this the future? This is not a universal for religion. It's very common in the world today because Abrahamic faiths are so ascendant, of course. But if we look back at, for example, pre Christian European paganism, and I think the types of animism and whatnot that basically used to be the universal constant, we don't see that form of, weekly communal observance. In fact, what we do see is more like there's communal festivals like Saturnalia, though that's not the type of festival I'd probably want to bring back, but that's just an example. And you'd have these festivals, you'd get together, you'd have feasts, maybe you'd have Olympic Games like in the ancient Greek world. You'd have these different observances, these different communal ritual practices, but I believe the lion's share of spiritual practice was private, was in your family, would involve offerings of some kind to supernatural beings, gods or elves or whatever. So, looking at the future of religion, I'm wondering, should we assume that the Sunday service model will continue? Because looking at our current world, religion is still largely, it's there's still a large element of decline to religion, even if interest in religion is picking back up more recently. And I'm wondering, is the Sunday service model enough? Of course, there's a large amount of value in the Sunday service model. We go to church or an equivalent. We engage with our communities. It's much needed in times of social alienation like we live in. But, you know, large amounts of people get bored. I think it would be hard not to get bored of church after a lifetime. You see these mega churches using smoke machines or flying their guys around on wires, and it's silly, but it kind of makes sense because church is kind of boring. The LDS church, we went from 3 hours to 2 hours somewhat recently. I think part of that is because of boredom. All right, this is part one, so stay tuned for part two.